That doesn't look good.
That doesn't look good at all.
Here we go.
There we go.
There we go. All right.
It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Welcome.
Another Wednesday.
Yes.
We be late.
The October 23rd Wednesday.
October 23rd. So we're 8 days away from D-Day. Dart Talk brought
that's
to you.
good to know.
Yeah, Dart Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. How was your weekend?
Wasn't too bad. I pretty much worked all weekend. I didn't do anything.
We're like the only two people in the country that didn't play darts over the weekend. There were
Really?
darts everywhere last weekend. We've got some results from Which City Open 2013, which was, I believe, like on the Massachusetts-New Hampshire border. I
Okay.
don't think they actually had it in Boston. But that's a Minuteman Dart League. We'll talk a little bit about that. They had the America's Tour stop number 3 in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Did the Which
Well,
City?
Newport News, actually.
Did the Which City, was it going on Friday?
Yeah.
I can't believe anybody around the Boston area was there.
Oh,
That was their clinching game, I think, on Friday.
I'm pretty sure that they were kind of watching it during the blind draw or something, or something like that. I mean, that's brutal. It's brutal when you're at a dart tournament and the Bears are playing.
Mhm.
Like when I used to go to Grand Rapids and
Right.
play, and then the Bear game is going, and if you even get it, right? One time I was up there, they were playing the Lions. That was fun.
I had to play Dart League playoffs, the Game 3 of the White Sox World Series. It just wasn't fun playing darts.
I was at the Ray Chesney once, and they have like
The game was Saturday night, apparently.
Well, they have a suite. Well, it was the same deal.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people still playing. They have a suite or two with like all the local like Quaker City Dart League, whatever it is. And the Eagles were in the playoffs. I can't remember if they were playing Dallas or what. So everybody was packed into this room watching the Eagles, and the Eagles weren't going to win. It's pretty obvious, and the room just got like kind of danker and danker, and it was kind of like a bad deal. I don't know what would have happened if they won. They would have trashed that place. But so that was kind of interesting. But so we have results from Which City? We have results from the America's Tour. There were also there was a league tournament in Vegas. There was a kind of a league blind draw Pearl Vodka thing in Missouri. It was kind of interesting too because some of this stuff now people are getting better at streaming. So last year this Pearl Vodka thing they were streaming, which was kind of like if you want to watch two people you've never seen throw bad darts, the Pearl Vodka thing was
it?
for you. I mean, and there's no disrespect to the players. I mean, it wasn't just like top level players. They had I guess different divisions or whatever, but. So, I mean, I don't find it compelling to watch people throwing, a never-ending stream of 2 counts in a cricket game. I just don't find that compelling. But they did a really good job. The Minuteman Dart League did a really good job streaming their finals board, which, I think as more and more tournaments get the hang of this, and as more and more tournaments kind of like learn from each other and do it better, I think it makes it better for everybody, especially if you don't happen to be there, and,
Sure.
and a lot of times, on the Diddle Tour, especially, the final's going on and you're playing another event. Like they're playing in the singles final and you're already playing in the doubles. So you don't always get a chance to watch, but at least now if these guys are, wise enough, they'll save the matches and put them on YouTube so everybody can watch them later. And, I think that's That's going to be, key, I think, moving forward when you want to start promoting the sport. Get a chance, the more people get to see some of these Americans play, the more they're going to like it and the more they're going to want to see.
You can watch it on your phone.
Yeah.
While you're playing the first round of your next.
Yeah. That's kind of like the, people that seem to think that, concentration and focus have no place in darts, which is like any Friday night at Murphy's, right? I had some guy giving me attitude. Literally, I'm playing. This guy from New York was in town again. He's got some job where he travels, so he's like, "Hey, I'll be in town. You want to get together and throw?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He plays in the PDSL, Angelo DiGiulio. I think he's from Buffalo. So he comes to Chicago the other day. So I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come out there." And he takes the train to the bus, comes out to Lakeview. We go to Murphy's. So we're playing, and I'm like, "I don't know. You want to play like a PDSL format thing? Play some sets. Sets are best of 5, whatever." Yeah, sure. So we're playing. And I literally brought 24 colored pencils because that's what they use at this place. They have colored pencils to chalk. And if I have to chalk my own match, I carry
a pencil.
Pencil in my hand.
You don't share.
Because it's not a matter of sharing. It's a matter of it's quicker than picking the thing up and putting it down.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually, I think the first guy I ever saw do this was Eric Blackledge way back. I almost said Todd Blackledge.
I was going to say, yeah. As you related?
It was like the first time I went to the Easy Money Open or something like that, like 7, 8, 9 years ago, whatever it was. And I was like, well, that's pretty smart, to, carry it, put it behind your ear or whatever. So,
well, yeah, because
these guys are playing on the one. There's only 2 boards in the place. So these guys are playing, and me and Angelo are playing. Angelo and I both have our own pencils. They have one. Everything is fine, right? So some clown joins them. So now there's 3 of them. They're really loud. They're disruptive. They're like, I'm kind of like, my God, I can't believe you guys talk this much while you're trying to play. I mean, literally, they'll, in mid-sentence, throw a dart, keep talking, throw a dart. Hey, I hit one. Yeah, good for you. I'm playing darts. I don't know what you're doing, but hopefully you're having fun. Well, no. So anyway, so the third guy comes up, and the pencil they had been using fell on the floor. And he points to me, and he's like, give me your pencil. And I'm like, I just looked at him like, why on earth would I give you my pencil? And I'm like, there's one on the floor behind you. So he gives me this look, and he looks, and eventually, when we're done, he made some comment to Angelo,
Did
like,
he really?
oh, who are we that we run the dartboards or something? And I'm like,
hoard the pencils because you each got one.
And I'm like, you should have said something to me.
Yeah.
Right. If you got a problem, just say something to me. And I'll tell you. There's a pencil right on the floor. Go get your own, dude. So I'm going to start I actually stashed one in my dart case, and I'm just going to bring my own pencil to this place. I've had it. Be like Jay Barlow. He shows up at these Diddle Tour events, and he's got his own Sharpie. So they're using these grease pencil crayon things.
Yeah.
He just pulls out a Sharpie, and you can actually see what's being written down. It's actually pretty nifty. Way to go, Jay. So everybody bring a pencil. That's our dart tip of the day for the steel players. We do have some news. Let's see. I guess a lot of people signed up, but there's still spots open for the New World Dart Series in New Orleans. Latest bulletin: registration at the regular price closes Monday at midnight Eastern.
This coming Monday.
So
yes.
don't go in like a second later and then whine that they charged you $50 more, because the price goes up $50 across the board after the 28th, and then as soon as they fill up, then you're out of luck.
Mm-hmm.
So get your entries in. You can go to newworlddartseries.com. If you need information, send an email to info@newworlddartseries.com, or you can find them, message them on Facebook. I can't wait to go to New Orleans. And I had a long talk. I'm worried. D-Day is next Thursday. So why, you're supposed to ask me now, why would next Thursday be D-Day?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I'm not sure I really want to hear the answer.
Well, no, well, here's where I'm at. I'm going to take a little personal time. Where are we on break? We're good.
We got plenty of time.
Well, here's the deal. I started my first dart game was on Halloween of 2001. So next Halloween is 12 years. Mm-hmm. And I had a chat with Gordon Dixon today for a little while, more than a little while. And I told him, I'm like, it's, every Halloween I assess whether or not to keep playing. And I told him this, I am closer to retiring now than I ever have been.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm getting discouraged. It's everything is so fractured and everything is so decentralized, and it isn't the way I figured things would be. Right? I think it's great that there's 4 tournaments going. I mean, 4 pretty big tournaments going on the same weekend. But it's hard for a tournament to thrive when,
Right.
Everybody's going here, there, and the other place, right? So you've
Right.
got,
We've talked about that before.
right. So, Darts Live in Virginia Beach paid out what they said they were going to pay out, but they only had, I don't know how many they ultimately had, but, you've got a field of, like, I don't know, less than 64.
But it was down. Yeah, participation's
and
down.
it pays $5,000 to the winner.
Mhm.
So why on earth would anybody play anywhere else? Well, if you live in Boston,
Yeah.
right,
We're going
why
there.
would you not play the which city?
Mhm.
Right? So I understand, the Boston or the New England people going to which city. If you live in the Midwest and it's a 15, 18-hour drive to Virginia Beach or, whatever, $300 flight, whatever, and you can play this triple elimination, 5-day blind draw, whatever it is, I could see why you would play that, right? And then there was a league tournament in Vegas the same weekend. So you've got literally, I'm trying to keep track because I actually deliberately sent a message to somebody saying, before I accuse you of cherry picking, I want to know why you went to this tournament.
Right.
Right? Because, as players.
Because you've gotten in trouble for that before.
Well, look, I mean, as players, all the players are kind of like independent free agents, and
Right.
everybody's kind of out for themselves. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, we don't have a player organization. The players have no unified voice of anything.
Right.
Right? So I don't
Just you.
well, I didn't play anywhere. I
I
mean,
know.
I almost went to Virginia Beach, but maybe that's what happened to Chat Room Girl. She just stayed out there, or somebody drowned her or something, or she just got sick of us. I don't know. Could be any one of the same.
Yeah, who knows?
The fact that she ran out of sick days and she'd only been on the show for like 6 weeks
Right.
is like,
Yeah, we think she could have the courtesy of sending a message.
yeah.
Hey, you're stuck at work. Hey, I don't like it anymore. Whatever.
No,
whatever
she
it is.
probably heard from
Yeah.
somebody, Steve said he was going to fire you. It's like,
Why-
I say that every week.
Yeah, I
I've
didn't
never
even know that
fired her,
rumor was
but-
going around.
Oh, well, I mean,
It's not like we walk around the
Fire
street
myself.
telling everybody that we're gonna.
I've thought of firing myself from the show a few times. I thought of
But-
suspending myself after the cherry picking thing, and I was like, well, we'll get a guest host, and I'll just sit here and
Yeah.
work the sound, and I'll suspend myself.
could produce
It's
for
kind
a
of
day.
it's kind of hard to do that. So I mean, it's kind of weird, but I guess we'll need a new chat room girl. So what I'm thinking is we could get a guest chat room girl every week
Yeah.
from like somewhere else in the country. You know what I mean? Like we could get a chat room girl
okay.
from Texas
Right.
one week, and then a chat room girl from Florida one week, and
Mhm.
one from Oregon one week. However we work it, it's just hard for them to communicate with us, and bring the chat into the show. That
Right.
was the whole reason to have a chat room girl, was so we can incorporate, the chatters into the show.
Yeah.
Who didn't turn my phone off? What's up
that
with
would
that?
be you.
Oh, well, that'd be kind of bad. So anyway, let's get. We'll take a real quick break. The breaks are going to be extremely short today. I won't even go into the glitches we had when we walked in the studio. But you're listening to Dart Talk with Mark and Steve, and we'll be right back. Okay, back for the second quarter, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Thanks to Jeff Dodson for the bumpers.
Yep.
I
As
don't know.
always.
I don't know where. So here's the deal for the people listening, wondering why we're so frazzled. I literally turned on the computer we used to use the show, and it was as if somebody had reformatted it.
Nothing worked.
Nothing worked. All the applications we used to do the show were gone. Although it turns out they weren't gone. It's just like somebody erased my desktop,
Yeah.
so I couldn't find anything, and I had to recreate everything. So I'll run the
Took a
disclaimer,
while.
but I couldn't find the disclaimer from
From the newest
Sparther
one.
in
Yeah.
New Zealand. So I'll run this old one just so we have something here. The views and opinions expressed or implied by guests and or hosts on Dart Talk do not prima facie represent the universe of thought of the aforementioned, notwithstanding the permissions and exclusions set forth below. Any enjoinders, rejoinders, litanies, epiphanies, demurrers, toddurers, past or future acts, or facts not presently in evidence, either in or around the underworld, the oversoul, or any other copyrighted fantasy land, Candyland, or neutral party to the agreements and understandings set forth in this or any related memoranda will not perish from this show. Okay.
This is like a throwback show.
I mean,
I'm on the
I don't
chat.
even remember.
An old disclaimer that you read.
We needed a disclaimer. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, there's one, and I'm like, I don't even remember doing that. I don't think anybody liked that disclaimer. I
we
think
should have done
we
this without
axed
video. Like we could have. This would be like an old way back show.
it. Yeah. Back get
Back-
nostalgic on me.
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, it's funny because I was talking to Gordon about where we're going because there's a couple of reasons where, like, Cosmo wants to re-up me, as like a product player or whatever, and they're like, well, what tournaments are you going to play next year? And I'm like, I don't know. There are no dates, right? I mean, there's talk of this, there's talk of that, but there's no dates.
Right.
Like this year, what I've basically done is I've played North American Championship Tour events, as many as I could. I mean, I didn't make it to Canada, but I played the ones in the States, and I played the New World Dart Series, and then I added in, I played, whatever Midwest Diddle Tour stuff
Kentucky
was
and
around,
stuff
and
like
then
that.
I went to Virginia Beach because I always go to Virginia Beach. I was in Vegas. That'll be the last one of those I play for the
For Darts Live.
No. Well, yeah, I was there. Yeah, I played Darts Live too, but I played the Vegas Classic in January,
Oh right.
with the National Cricket Championship and stuff like that. And I'm not going to play that stuff anymore. I'm not going to play ADO regionals anymore. I don't see why anybody. I don't see the value in any of that. But okay, so what am I going to play next year, right? And I was talking to Gordon about it because, most people have jobs. Most people have a limited amount of vacation time that they can use.
Right.
And I'm racking my brains because I'm convinced that in order to raise the profile of the sport, and in order to make the sport more worth playing, and in order to get television and sponsorship, we need to present a product that people want to see. The one thing Gordon said that he was pretty adamant about was that Americans want to watch Americans. They don't really want to watch Canadians. They just want to watch Americans play Americans. I don't know if I really buy into that. I don't think
I don't know because I mean you guys play against enough Canadians. You know them too. I mean it's why would you want to?
Well, yeah. I mean,
watch that.
when you think about North America, there's plenty of Canadians that are in America often enough where everybody knows them. At least the players that go to tournaments know them.
Right.
Right? But I don't see why, we can't look at it as a continent. I don't see why you should be excluding Canadians from
Yeah.
events, right? For one, I don't know how many serious players there are, but there aren't, I mean, for every 1,000 people playing in a league, I mean, how many people are, quote, serious?
Very few.
Yeah, like
2.
10. 2? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at which city. I don't know how many people they had in the singles, but supposedly they have 6,000, 3,000, whatever league members. They have a league tournament, and they only get 200 people. That's a horrible turnout.
Right.
If they even got 200 people, because, there were 57 serious players in Virginia Beach. Right? Actually more than that because they had a bullshooter regional the same weekend in Virginia Beach. So some people actually played them both. So you got a couple of hundred people there. You got a couple of hundred people in St. Louis playing this thing. I don't know, they probably had 150 maybe playing this Phoenix League thing in Vegas. So that's another 350 people that are playing elsewhere.
Right.
So you literally have 400, 500 people playing in tournaments last weekend. Okay, take out the ones that are, like playing like B or C division,
Yeah.
and you still have a couple of hundred people. So my thinking is, how are you going to get all 200, 250, quote, serious players to play one event, right?
Sure.
I'm convinced that the New World Dart Series format, well, I've been advocating this thing for a year and a half, where, there's something for everybody, but you're not pandering to or catering to recreational players. See, I think that's where a lot of tournaments make a mistake.
Right. That's what happened in Windy City, too.
Yeah. Well, Windy City is a perfect example
Yeah.
where, they started getting less and less league participation, so they decided to come up with like a co-located handicap tournament, and it killed the whole thing, right? It killed the whole thing. I mean, they had people coming from England and, drunken recreational players on the next board, like hooping and hollering, laughing it up, and these guys are trying to play serious darts, and they flew, I don't know, 3,000 miles. I don't know how, I haven't walked it, but a pedometer around, but, and so then they were unhappy, and then, recreational players, to their credit, stand up for themselves, and they're like, hey, we're players too. Well, of course you are. And you deserve the same respect you're supposed to be giving other people, which I don't always see.
There's still
but,
some etiquette there.
well, yeah, but there's no, like, Amy Vanderbilt or Emily Vanderbilt, whoever did the etiquette thing that everybody's pointing to, I don't think she covered darts.
No, I don't think so.
So darts etiquette kind of changes from region to region, right?
Yeah.
So they do things differently in some places,
Right.
I mean, that's just kind of how it is. So we don't have a uniform etiquette code, right, as far as darts goes here. Whatever's evolved in wherever you play, you may see differences, if you actually travel. But I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay, look, let's say you're a talented league player. You're going to play your local tournament.
Right.
If you're in like a soft tip league, like NDA or Medalist or something, maybe you go to the one big league tournament every year. Then what else are you going to do? You're going to play blind draws, right? Local blind draws.
Yeah.
But let's say you want to go to one or two other tournaments that are, going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours away, whatever. How do you determine which tournaments you're going to go to? If you're already burning half your vacation time to go to your league tournament, and you're burning some of your vacation time for your local tournament, and you only have 3 or 4 vacation days that you could put on another tournament, how do you decide, right? And it's kind of weird because last weekend you had 4 completely separate kinds of tournaments all running at the same time, right? Darts Live is strictly bring a game. You don't have to bring any quarters, but you have to bring a game or you go home early, right? That's Darts Live, one and done, right? We're playing for real. You've got the Diddle Tour up in Which City, which, is kind of like the common steel tip tournament format. Like, how many events? 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 events, whatever it is. Mixed doubles, mixed triples, blind draw, singles, doubles, whatever. Let's see who can drive home Sunday night, right? Then you had in this Pearl Vodka thing where it was kind of a league thing where it was like a big money triple elimination blind draw, but in order to qualify for it, you were supposed to play like 300 Saturday night blind draws or something. I don't know.
Really?
Well, it sounded to me like kind of a Ponzi scheme, but, whatever. It is what it is. But you got all those people playing that, and then you had like what I consider kind of a standard soft tip league tournament in Vegas, where in order to qualify, you had to play like, I don't know, 1 or 2 seasons of league, whatever. And then, but the good thing about the Phoenix tournament was that they were adding money, just like Darts Live was in Vegas. And my attitude is like the first thing you look for when you're shopping for a tournament is, are you playing for more than your entry fees?
Yeah.
Because
do you stand a chance of at least breaking even? Or
well, yeah, I never look at it that way. I mean, you see what the payouts are. You know where your game is at, but you can't. I've seen a couple of people show up at tournaments and they're broke on Saturday night because they expected to win.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know where you're from, but, stuff happens. You can fly halfway across the country to play best of 3, diddle every leg 501, and you've already spent the money. You should get health
that's
insurance.
Not very bright.
see a shrink.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, if you're that confident, I've never been that confident.
No.
But when it comes to picking these tournaments out and stuff like that, yeah, the money's a factor. The standard steel tip tournaments, like these $20,000 tournaments that are on the Diddle Tour, maybe they're paying 85% of the entry fee, maybe they're paying 90. I mean, it kind of depends event to event. They may be paying 90 for the men or 85 for the men, but then they're paying 125% on the women because they don't have enough women, so they're taking, they have to juggle. Tournaments need to at least break even if they're going to survive, right? We want tournaments to survive. We're not anti-tournaments. But I'm saying, when you look at what tournaments you want to play, and you're a serious player or you want to improve or you want like a good tournament experience, there's nothing better than the NWDS format or the Le Scratch format, where you're going to play a lot of darts, and no matter how badly you play Saturday, you have a chance to win some money on Sunday. If you're in the bottom half of your round robin and you're in the consolation round, you're still 1 match away, 2 matches away at the most, I think, of being in the money.
Yeah.
Right? How is that not good?
Yeah, I mean, at that point it just becomes
there's
distance
the argument that these local players really want to finish in the money in their local tournament, so pay down the top 32 and give them their entry fee back so they can go back to their local bar and say, hey, I was in the money.
I got top 32.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I have to think back to when I first started playing, right, where I played an open event with absolutely no expectation that I would go anywhere, but, hey, I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah, well, do you
You know
think
what I
one of
mean?
the reasons they do that, though, is it kind of, I mean, if, you get a lot of people that go top 32, they might play the next event, and then you keep more and more people entering events. Some people might go there and say, well, if I don't win my money back, I'm not going to enter the,
I'm sure there's
or
something
whatever.
like that, and I'm sure that there are some people that are like, well, and again, I don't really understand, the idea somehow that, well, I'm just going to play in the blind draw and hope I get Darren Young as a partner. Darren's not undefeated in blind draws. I mean, at some point, you have the responsibility to bring a game.
Yeah, a little bit. You still have
right?
to throw.
Yeah, I mean, you the guy's going to need some help. I mean, if you're going to go up there and just throw a lot of one counts, I'm not sure how good you're going to do in the blind draw, and I'm not sure you're ready to play tournament darts. Not everybody has a game that's tournament ready, and I know people that don't even enjoy tournaments. They just like hanging out, playing darts with their friends, which is great. But those are the people that should be fans. These are people that, if you're interested in darts, should be coming to the tournament to watch.
Yeah.
But I don't see that, right? So I don't know if it's because for spectators it's too expensive, right? If you're going to go to a tournament and get a hotel and all this other stuff, well, then you may as well play. You're only increasing your expenses 20%, right? But, you've got, like, how many people live around Boston? I mean, and you've got a league of 6,000 people. They should have had 500 people watching, right? Have drink specials. Do something.
Yeah.
You got to get more people into the dart hall is kind of where I'm going with this. So when it comes to, like, what tournaments you're going to pick, if you can only pick one tournament a year, one extra tournament to go to, what's it going to be? You play like an ADO regional, right? And maybe go to Stamford or maybe go to, wherever. Yeah, okay. If you've got 8 people that want to put in $110, then, you can do that. If you're in an affiliated league where they run these like little $10 qualifiers and you take you put your $10 in and you get into the regional and you happen to win the regional, I mean, for $10 you get like a trip somewhere. It's not really paid for, but it's partly paid for. I mean, I could see people doing that, but I can't. What I can't see is why people aren't just flocking to the New World Dart Series. I understand it's like, okay, it's intimidating to go to a tournament that's all singles based, right?
Oh, well, sure.
But for a lot of these guys that like want to play doubles with their buddies, they don't get very far. Sometimes they do. It kind of depends. I mean, sometimes you get what they call a hometown bracket. We talked about this kind
Yeah,
of
but
thing.
it's still, I mean, that
And maybe they
shows-
get far. Hey, it depends.
Right.
I mean, there's talented players everywhere.
But it really just shows who's really committed, though, because those talented players don't want to put the effort into going and playing in a singles tournament.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, it's like there's so many talented players everywhere you go. Even if you go to like I took Adam Smith on the tour, the dart
Right.
bars. Every dart bar has like one guy that everyone considers like the best shot. These are the guys. That best shot guy is the guy that should be going to tournaments, right?
Well,
He's the guy that should be going on the road to see what's out there, so he can come back and tell everybody, man, it was so cool. I got to play Darren Young, and I met Larry Butler, and I took a leg off this guy, and la-di-da-di-da. I mean, that's kind of how you grow this stuff, grassroots, right?
Sure.
So, this NWDS thing, I mean, is like, it's win-win for every kind of player, right? If you only go to a few tournaments a year, here's a tournament where you're going to throw more darts than you will at the other two tournaments combined, unless you happen to win like 3 events, right? You're going to learn because you're going to play some of the, better players in the country,
Yeah.
right? And it's a test to see where your game is. So this was kind of what I was talking to Gordon about. I'm like, look, what if we had like 2 tournaments a year that were like ran like say Tuesday or Wednesday through Sunday, and we got to get maybe I'll get Larry on the show next week to talk about Golden Harvest, because Golden Harvest was kind of the same deal where it was round robin, knockout, but they had like 2 or 3 days of round robin, and then finally the big finish on Sunday. So wherever you happen to be traveling to, you're playing, and I think that's worth more than having 13 events where maybe, for the average player, he's in the money in 2 or 3 of them.
Sure.
Right? And then the rest of the time he's sitting around or, whatever it is people do when they're not playing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you're in Vegas, so you hit the tables or,
Yeah.
whatever.
Or you're at the bar watching a ball game, or you're up in your room if you're,
But seriously, I mean, I'm racking my brains trying to figure out how we can get all the serious darters in one place to play. Right? So the only thing I can think of is you have like 2 national championships. You have one for 5-0, you have one for cricket. It runs, 4 or 5 days. You do one on Memorial Day weekend and one on Labor Day weekend. That's all I could come up with. Right? Because you get an extra vacation day in there. Most people do.
Right.
Right? So between the 2 of them, maybe you can work it where you only lose 1 week of vacation, and you structure it where if you don't show up the first couple of days, you're still in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And this is kind of, again, I hate to be always copying Canada, but I like the way they do their nationals, right? Their nationals run Monday or Tuesday through Sunday, and they have this event, this event, this event, this event, this event, this event. Every day is a new day. Instead of every 4 hours is a new event, every day is a new day. Okay, today didn't go so good. I'm going to hit the pool. I'm going to go get myself some dinner, go see a movie and forget about how horrible I threw. And then I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to warm up and I'm going to hammer some people. Right?
Right.
I mean, I see that as a better experience for most people than hanging out in a dart hall for 12 hours or playing some blind draw until 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
At some point, that's not even a dart tournament. That's something else.
No, just so you have to get
You know what I'm
turn around
saying?
and get up 4 hours later just to play a singles
Oh,
match.
come on. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, we're talking about playing serious darts, putting on serious events, because ultimately, and we're going to have to take a break
Yeah.
up. So when we come back, ask me what ultimately we're trying to do here so I can explain this
Okay.
to the listeners. Okay, you're listening to Dart Talk with Mark and Steve. We'll be right back. Okay, back for the second half, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. How's it going there in the chat room there,
Going all
chat
right.
room boy?
I had a little difficulty. But
Yeah.
I've since figured it out.
So we're smarter than the
So
little
what happens when you take some
sliders
time
now.
off from this thing?
I'll tell you. Yeah, it's hard to believe she just blew us off.
I
But
know.
Maybe we had it coming. I don't know. I threaten to fire her every week. I mean,
Well, that
why-
doesn't. Yeah,
you know,
I'm still
I mean,
holding to the fact that she could have said, even if she said, "I can't stand you guys anymore. I'm not coming." At least let us know.
You would have liked that better, right? You would have liked it if she called you up and said, you guys have been jerks to me every
Right.
show and I'm sick of
I'm not
it. And
doing
I'm
this
blah, blah, blah,
anymore.
blah. Yeah, whatever, right?
You know?
Or go in the chat room and be like, oh, these guys stink and they
Right.
treated me bad. And, whatever, So I don't know. Anybody?
Of course, she can't say that because we didn't treat her badly.
I didn't think so. And we were paying her $1,000 a week.
Yeah, we were. This might be my last show.
Anyway, so where were we? What are we
You're
babbling
trying to
about
get to
here?
your ultimate goal of this
Oh, well,
of
okay.
your
Right.
dirt
So,
theory.
well, and this is something that, on the show I've advocated for I don't know how long. We used to run the thing where all I want to see is, live darts on
Yes.
TV in America. Is that so wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, in order for darts to become, a higher profile sport than it is now, I mean, some things have to happen. For one, you have to start putting on first-class events.
Right.
You have to get the better players playing each other, right? And then you have to record it, right? I mean,
that would make
there,
sense.
Yeah, there needs to
And
be
you
visual
have to
evidence
be
of
able to
this,
Right.
and
Even if you couldn't make it, you could be able to watch
that
it.
is your product.
Yeah.
That is your product. Your product is, reaction shots to the audience. Your product is, two guys, flailing away, trying to, beat each other,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, that's the product. That's what's compelling. If you can have curling on television, you can have darts on television.
Sure.
If you can have 11 million people watching
Of course,
Duck Dynasty,
Curling's only on once every 4 years.
but it's on,
Yeah.
you're watching somebody swimming in a pool.
Right.
Right? It's compelling. It's a race, right? Who won? You can't really see anything. It's just a bunch of people splashing really, really fast. I mean, you can't. And now they have underwater cameras, and it's like, which I don't really see for diving. I mean, you're going to watch to see if their suits come off,
Yeah,
from
right.
a 10-meter platform. I mean, come on, give me a break. But I mean, you watch all this stuff. And what was it? Gordon said something about, well, they won't show pole vaulting. And I'm like, well, yeah, they will. They showed Stacy Dragila, who was
Why
like
don't they show pole vaulting?
Well, they do. He said that he might have just pulled this out of the air as
Oh,
an example of
yeah.
things that they don't show. And I'm like, well, they're not going to show East German women hammer throwers
No.
that are, bigger than NFL linemen, but they'll show like a petite Chinese diver, or they'll show like
Gymnastics and
they'll show rhythmic gymnastics, which to me is,
synchronized swimming.
can we just say it's not a sport if you wear makeup? Can we just say that right now? And yet people watch it.
Yeah.
People will watch figure skating. People will watch all this stuff. And it's like, don't tell me darts isn't compelling. I mean, it hasn't been presented to the American public in a compelling manner. That's on us, right? That's on, the people that are,
So that's safe to say that might be your ultimate goal. Presenting
my
it to the
ultimate
American
goal
people
is
in a compelling manner.
is to raise darts to a level where people actually are aware that it's a sport everywhere, right? Which means television. You got to get it on television somewhere. Now there's like 2 or 3 new sports channels that just came on here this
Right.
year. There's like hundreds of hours of content that these people have to fill, and they're showing reruns of news.
Yeah.
Right? How many times are you going to run the same Sports Center? How many times are you going to run the same Fox Sports Live or CBS Sports Leadoff
About
or
9
whatever?
hours. They run
Look.
about 9 times in a row.
Yeah. Well, because it's cheap and it's in the can and they could just run the tape. So,
Yeah.
but the minute they find something more compelling, they're going to put it up there. So it's our job to get darts in front of these people and be like, look, you can show this. It's going to be cheap. This is not $1 million production. Now, the PDC productions are pretty expensive, right? Well, they've got backing because you can gamble on this stuff. They have all these bookmakers putting in money, and Sky
Right.
Sports, is putting on the money, right? So all the money that the PDC gets for television rights, a lot of that comes back to the players. I was trying to explain this to somebody the other night. I'm like, hey, look, you're watching a football game. You know why these guys are getting paid millions? It's not because of the people in the stands. It's because of television,
Oh yeah.
right? So it's all about getting darts on television. That is what has to happen. So you have an event in New Orleans where you're going to have whoever makes the big, or whoever makes the top half of the round robin, whoever's playing in the big money knockout on Sunday is going to be the best quality darts thrown in America this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This diddle every leg 501 best of 3 garbage that you get at all these ADO tournaments, you're not going to bring out somebody's best darts. You're just not going to. You're going to see guys winning with 22, 23 dart legs, and all the other players shake their heads, and they're like, well, gee, I could throw a 23 dart leg. That guy ain't that good, and all that stuff. And it's like, well, for one, you didn't get there. And for two, there's a reason that, somebody like Larry Butler's won 2 straight America's Tour stages. It's not luck. It's like, here's a guy dedicated, to his sport who's playing it at a higher level than anyone else. There's a reason that Darren Young won 2 doubles events and a singles event in which city?
Spoiler
right?
alert.
Well, yeah. Why don't we? Well, okay. Before we do the results, I just want to make sure that we're clear on this.
Yeah.
So, if the ultimate goal is to get darts on television, in order to do that, you need to have tournaments that are producing the best darts from the players, that have the most talented players playing, right?
Right.
And that are recorded in a manner that is watchable,
Right.
right? So
Sounds so easy.
well, okay. So, but one of the problems that I'm starting to sense as I look at next year, and as I'm trying to plan my schedule next year, where there's no dates and there's no this, and well, okay, everybody knows Philadelphia's the first weekend after January, but when's this tournament? When's that tournament? Where the America's Tour for Darts Live next year? There's no dates for that. There's no dates for the PDC next year. And these are all the tournaments that I was playing this year. And I'm like, I have no idea when these are next year. Are there going to be a conflict where I'm already committed to some Diddle Tour events? Like I go to Virginia Beach, right? I go to Huntsville. I go to Nashville. I'm already set up for these tournaments. It's like, well, at least I know when their days are, right? But who knows? So, I mean, if the players don't get organized and get behind an effort like this, then it's going to fail. And it's not just a matter of, that you need 128 players to make this event a success. You need 96 or whatever. I was talking to one guy, and I'm like, look, what if we design these tournaments and cap the field at 64 and just not care? The PDC started with like 15 guys. They were 15 of the best guys, but that's how it started. They said, look, we're the game, right?
Okay.
We're the ones that people want to see play. So they stopped showing up at all these other tournaments. Well, they were banned from them, or they might have shown up. But the idea, let's say you're Darren Young, and I don't want to pick on Darren, and I'm not saying this in any way to criticize Darren. I just want to use Darren as an example because he's a well-known name, and you can put in any other name. I don't really care. There's no one right now that goes to a tournament to see Darren Young play. Right? There's nobody buying tickets to go see Darren Young play. Well, part of the reason is you could see him anytime you want. Right? You just show up at a tournament and there he is, and you could just stand there and watch. Andre Segovia, who's like one of my all-time classical guitar player, like very, very famous, used to pay, people would pay him $3,000 an hour to watch him practice.
Really?
Yeah, because he was so great and he was one of a kind. And it's like, darts is exactly the opposite. You get to see people practice for free.
Yeah.
You want to watch Darren warm up, just hang out by his board. And you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's no cachet and there's no exclusivity to any of the top players because you can always see them for free. So at some point, the top players have to kind of like get together and be like, you know what? These are the tournaments we're all going to go to, right? These are the tournaments that matter. These are the tournaments that we want the tournament promoters to stream and to record and all this other stuff. These are the ones that we guarantee we're going to show up to if you do this. Then you're going to at least have a core number. I don't know how many it would be, but you'd have a core number of tournaments that would be, you'd have a marketable product at the end of the day.
Well,
right?
if you took 64, if you just capped it at 64, how would you set just for 64 to enter?
Yeah. Well, the way you would normally do it is you would have a ranking list, and the top 60, the 65th person needs somebody not to show up in order to,
just like golf.
Yeah, which you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Right? But eventually you would be.
Right.
Where, right now the only tournaments that are going to produce a product that's marketable are the NWDS and the PDC tournaments. On the soft tip side, the Darts Live are the only ones. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get anything marketable out of the bullshooter. Somebody sent me, oh my gosh, like a video of a bullshooter final where it took a guy 2 minutes to take out like an 81, and I don't know if he took his shoes and socks off to count or what was going on there. But I mean, literally, you're on Game Shot and it takes you 2 minutes to do it. What sport does this? What sport has a 2-minute delay before? I mean, imagine you're in the NCAA final and you it's a tie game and you've got one free throw. Have you ever seen a player walk around for 2 minutes before he took the free throw? What is this?
Free throw line, walks back.
And this is a sport that some people seem to think is like no problem at all. Anybody can play darts. That's what probably most people think. I was watching NFL Network, and they had I don't know who was talking. The morning, like NFL AM,
yeah.
And like literally behind the shoulder of the guy talking, I don't know if it was Michael Strahan. I don't know who it was. They had a dartboard with 3 darts that were kind of in an oblique angle, like somebody tried to hit bullseyes from like way over to the left.
Other side of the desk.
Yeah, way over to the left. And to their credit, they were all inside the triple ring, but there were no bullseyes. And I'm like, well, at least they're using the dartboard. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, somebody needs to run over there and organize a little dart tournament for them.
Right.
Right. Like I said, set up take a stanchion over to the ESPN's parking lot and put on an exhibition. All the stuff I've said we need to do to raise the public's consciousness of darts, right? None of them have been done.
Right.
Instead, you've got, I don't know, people sniping on Facebook, and you've got players that are literally don't even know what to do anymore, right? Like, at least if you're playing the North American Championship Tour, you know what you're doing. You're on this money list. Top of the list gets this, gets that, whatever. ADO points, you get nothing for. So what's the point of chasing ADO points, right? They added the thing now for Canada and America where the top of whatever list gets a lakeside invitation. Okay. I've heard rumors there's going to be like 14 events or something to try to qualify next year, which I'm just like, what a disastrous idea that is, right? But, when you look at the ADO, it's all East Coast stuff, right?
Okay.
I was talking to Gordon Dixon about this, and I'm like, look, if you live on the East Coast, it's not hard to get ADO points. You got ADO tournaments every weekend. If you live in Colorado, or you live in Arizona, or you live in California, you have no prayer unless you happen to have a spare $25,000 that you want to spend to go to all these tournaments that pay $400 to the winner, right? Which I can't imagine anybody who had 25,000 spare dollars would be that silly to do something like that.
Right.
So now what you have is the ADO is a total East Coast organization. That's all they are. Right? The vast majority of their tournaments are on the East Coast. If you look down like the points list, they're all East Coast people. I mean, Steve Brown won the points list maybe 3 years ago and won like one tournament. He just went around and got top 32s at all these places, went to all these regionals, and I think he beat Larry Butler by like 3 points, and Larry like didn't play in a region or something, didn't play any regionals. And he had the nerve to take this points title and smile.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what you're all about, but this is ridiculous, right? So the ADO points list.
Well,
that doesn't count.
He gets nothing for at least traveling.
You get like a little. I don't know. Look like a $10 Lucite trophy.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
It's a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an insult to whoever actually has the points lead that they give you nothing. If the ADO was smart and they wanted like people to play in their regionals, they'll be like, yeah, well, the Cricket National is $5,000 to the winner. You'll get people coming out,
Yeah, for sure.
right? The 501 National Championship, $10,000 to the winner. You'll get people coming out. I mean, the ADO collects money from all these people, and where does the money go? I don't know. It's like a big black hole, right? So,
Well, I'm sure there's something at the end of that black hole.
but what you end up with is a tournament that has no product. There's no reason to have it except, let's have a tournament. Let's have everybody get together and let's play, and we'll keep score. It's so informal compared to what a professional tournament should be. Right? And the funny thing is, the PDC tournaments and the NWDS tournaments, are so different than these other tournaments that I think a lot of people shy away from them, right? And I'll tell you, this is going to be the problem for anybody that ends up. You look at Darren Young, right? Darren goes, he'll be going to the World Championship probably again this year, the PDC World Championship. He's not going to be prepared based on what he does in America. In America, you spend half your time playing cricket, 40% of your time playing best of 3 501, and then, there's now, this year, we've had some long format ones,
Right.
and now you're going to go play people that all they do is play long format 501 day in and day out. It's like getting ready for the U.S. Open and saying, we're going to take our best miniature golfer and send him to the U.S. Open because, he's a great
I don't know if
putter.
it's quite like
Yeah,
that.
they're going to get. Well, look at what happened at the Winmau Masters, right? You had all these Americans in the Winmau Masters. None of them really did anything, right? The one that got the furthest, I think, on the first day was Steve Brown, who comes from long format 5-0, right? And you would think if a long format 5-0 guy is on the ADO board, we'd be playing long format 5-0, and yet we're not.
Right.
Okay, fine. I'm not going to start bashing cricket. I'm just saying, if you want to play, big time darts, that means long format 5-0. And anybody who doesn't want to play long format 5-0 ought to immediately just go play soft tip. Immediately. And maybe that would fix darts in America, is like make all the steel tournaments nothing but long format 5-0, and then tell everybody who wants to play cricket to go play soft tip. Right? And then we'll have more soft tip tournaments.
Speaking of tournaments, we do have results, but we also we do need to take
another break. Oh my gosh. All right. One more break and then we'll do some results. You're listening to Dart Talk. Well, Mark's not saying much, but I am. We'll be right back. Okay, back for the fourth quarter, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. Yeah, we do have results.
We have results.
We should do some results. I'll do the America's Tour because it's shorter. I'm lazy.
All right. And you've been talking the most anyway, so.
Well, yeah, I could use a break. The was America's Tour stop number 3. Was in Virginia Beach over the weekend. Top 8 was Chris White, Leonard Gates, Ray Carver, Danny Delfino. Top 4, Ryan Morey of Syracuse and Scott Kirchner. Second place, Brad Porter from South Bend, Indiana, and Larry Butler, 2 for 2. from Fairborn, Ohio, which, I don't know, must be around Dayton, because I'm pretty sure he lives around Dayton. So congrats to all those guys.
Google it if you really need to know.
Where Fairborn? I'm good, thanks.
Okay.
I'm good. I know where Shelby is. That's all I care.
All right. What's in Shelby?
That's where my mom's from.
Oh,
Yeah.
but she doesn't live there anymore.
No.
Okay.
She's moving back to Chicago. I tell you that?
Yeah, you did tell me that.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
She's going to, like, 1 January, and she's going to be begging to go back to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about that. All right, what do you got? You got the which city results?
I got the which city results.
Good luck with that. I can't read that from here.
No. They're not going to be exact results. We had a little computer problems this morning. This afternoon.
Yeah,
But anyway,
little.
we'll give it a shot. Mixed doubles. Top 4, Andrea Taylor, Bill Anderson Jr., Robbie Phillips, and Callie West. Second place goes to Holly Frary and Darren Young. Scott Wollaston and Sandy Hudson win that event. Men's doubles cricket, top 4, George Alvarado and B. Roth. We're not sure who the B is.
Yeah, I don't know who that was.
Jim Woodmayer and Robbie Phillips. Second place goes to Steve Brown and Ryan Barnett. And Darren Young and Ryan Vanderwheat win the mixed doubles cricket. Women's doubles cricket, Donna Lemieux, Holly Frary, Lori Moran. I did that the last time, too. Lori Moran and Miss Gargulio.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
So,
yeah.
Second place goes to Marlise Keel and Sandy Hudson. Kelly West and Robin Curry win that event.
Whisper Twins.
The Whisper Twins. Women's
They don't
01
like that.
singles. No, they don't, but you say it every
Yeah,
time. Anyway.
I know. I think it's great.
Yeah. Women's 01 singles, top 4, Holly Frary, Callie West. Second place goes to Sandy Hudson with Betty Cunningham winning that.
Well, congrats to all of them.
Your men's 01 singles, top 4, Jim Woodmayer, Joe Efter. Second place, Martin Tremblay and Tom Sawyer, your winner.
And that was in the 01?
That was men's 01 singles.
Men's 01, okay.
Your men's doubles 501, top 4, Tom Curtin, Tom Sawyer, Bob Seneve, and partner.
Yeah, I couldn't make out the name.
So we don't know who Bob played with. But top 4 for them. Robbie Phillips and Jim Woodmayer second place with Darren Young and Ryan Vanderwheat.
2 for 2.
Part of the spoiler alert from earlier.
Right.
Women's doubles 501. Top 4 Pam and Vicky Briggs, Sandy Hudson, Marlise Keel with Donna Lemieux and Holly Frary getting second, and Callie West and Robin Curry.
Whisper Twins.
For first place. Your women's singles cricket, top 4, Andrea Taylor, Caroline Mars, Robin Curry second, and Callie West first. And then your men's singles cricket, top 4, Martin Tremblay, Todd Baumgartner. Second place goes to Mark Cronin and Darren Young, your winner in that one.
Yeah, I don't know who Mark Cronin is, but I looked at his bracket. He went through some good players, so he must have been playing pretty good.
Playing pretty good.
And again, he's one of those guys, probably, I suspect. And Joe Efter is another one. Good local players. Everybody knows him around there. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to travel. That's the thing that always, all the good guys in Chicago that don't go anywhere, like Kurt Hartman and Ron Johnson, always I only got so much time off. I spent it with my kids, la-di-da-di-da. If there's one tournament you can go to, this would be the one. Like Kurt went to the New World Dart Series in Vegas. He thought it was great.
Yeah.
Well, of course he did. Everybody who goes thinks it's great.
Right.
It's but you got to get there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so anyway, you guys, if you haven't signed up yet, I think if you mention us, you get free food. Right?
Where?
Is it? If you sign up
that's
for
right.
the,
You get a free breakfast.
You got to put Dart Talk or why you don't like Dart Talk
Yeah,
or
either one.
whatever.
Yes.
If you sign up, if you go to newworlddartseries.com, you sign up and you put Dart Talk somewhere in the comments, you get a free food. You get, I believe it was
a breakfast.
No, I think it's room service baked Alaska, filet mignon,
sure.
and Dom Perignon, or I don't know. Don't quote me on that. This is just off the top of my head memory thing.
But there
it
is
may actually just be
food.
the hotel buffet.
Yeah, it could be.
But the baked Alaska, have you ever had that?
No. I don't plan on it either.
I don't know. How do you bake a whole state? So I don't know. So I have to
Especially one that's so cold.
Well, I have to decide in 8 days whether or not I'm retiring. Right.
Okay.
So here's
And what are you going to do to prepare for that?
I don't
to
know.
make a decision?
You need to have. Where was I? I was in Nashville. No, I was in Huntsville 2 years ago, and I was having a terrible time. And I had a conversation with a guy, and he's like, "Well, why are you playing?"
He said that to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had to stop and think. It's like, well, I'm a dart player, so I go and play. but it's nice to have a plan. Like Ryan Barnett was on the show a couple of months ago saying, I want to be a world champion.
Yeah, right.
If America's going to produce a world champion, we got to get rid of the Diddle Tour. The Diddle Tour is not going to produce anybody near a world-class player. There's just no way. You can have some guy slaving away in his garage, practicing 8 hours a day, and then going on the Diddle Tour, but it's not going to prepare him to play long-format 01 world-class darts. It's just not. The only way to do that is to go out and play long-format 501.
Right.
Right? If you don't, play soft tip. Right? Play lots of cricket, because all soft tip is bullseyes and triples. You can eliminate half the board. And people have fun.
Yeah.
People enjoy playing it, so play it by all means. I mean, I think that there's no. I cannot believe people aren't flocking to the Darts Live things where you're playing for other people's money. You got sponsor money to play for. I mean, that's why you play. You think Tiger Woods would be where he is if he was playing for entry fees?
Right.
On the PGA Tour, if all the PGA Tour did was play for entry fees, I mean, are you kidding me? Those guys would be like taking golf clubs to each other, trying to make
Pretty
the cut.
much, yeah.
Well, no, seriously. I mean, it's expensive. Look how much it costs them to travel,
A lot.
right?
Yeah. They're independent contractors.
So we need 2 weekends. This is your homework for next. You have homework for next week. Come up with 2 weeks during the year that we could stage a national championship.
Okay.
Right, keeping in mind we need to lengthen the number of days, which is why I'm saying we need to do it in a holiday, like a holiday weekend. And it's going to have to, and you got to come up with a location.
Oh, okay.
Right? Where, like, I'm thinking like Labor Day in Buffalo is sounding really good to me. Niagara Falls, Buffalo, where the Canadians can get to it easily.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think you could definitely have. And the other thing is, like, maybe we need to start thinking about, having, and this is the thing people are really not going to like. I like the way I save the really unpopular ideas to the end of the show, right? Here's the deal. If it happens that we are going to, like, commit to an endeavor like the New World Darts Series and the North American Championship Tour, and we want to sustain it long term, what we're probably going to have to do is scale it down to maybe no more than 64 players.
Right.
The players are going to have to commit to playing a certain number of events. And when it does happen that we start getting sponsorship money and stuff, there are a bunch of people that aren't going to be able to play.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
This is not going to be popular. And I'm not talking about banning people. I'm saying, look, if it comes where, I can talk a sponsor into giving us $20,000 to put in the prize purse, then the people on the money list are going to be, you're going to go
First
through the
in
top
line.
64 and then down and down, and and there's going to be a cutoff or something, right? Because I don't see if all these people are going to make the sacrifice to get something like this going, and it's finally successful, all of a sudden all these other people that have been undercutting it or bad-mouthing it or ignoring it or all this stuff are going to come and play?
Mm-hmm.
No way. No way does that happen. So a players association where you have to be a member to play, what the PDC did was I want to say like 5 years ago or something, in order to join the PDC, they had an initiation fee of like almost $1,000.
Really?
Originally, it was only a few hundred. So some guys got in for a few hundred, and then it cost you whatever it was to renew it. It wasn't that much, like maybe $100. So people that like are playing in these events get their initiation fee waived, right? And then people that haven't played, it's $2,000
Okay.
if you want to get in,
Right.
right? Something like that. There's going to have to be some system in place to reward the people that are on the ground floor playing, right? And not punish the people that aren't playing now, but be like, okay, you want to join in now? You're not in on the ground floor. It costs more.
Yeah.
Like an IPO. If you're
Sure.
not in on the ground floor, it costs more.
Right.
And if they don't want to play, they don't have to play. You need to get to the point where, we don't need you as players. If you don't want to play, we're happy not to have you. The minute you start doing it the other way, the minute you're like, "Oh, we need players. We'll do this for you. We'll do that." That's where you've lost. That was my little league team.
Right.
I had to beg these guys to play to get 9 guys on the field, and after one season, I was like, "You know what? How about we just don't play?"
Right.
And they're like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?" I'm like, "I'm not going to beg you guys to play. I show up every week. If you don't want to show up, then you don't have a team. What do I care? I'll go do something else."
Yeah.
Right? But you can't be structuring tournaments based on 128 people if you can't get 128 people. If you're gonna, there aren't 128 people that are traveling to 6, 7, 8 stops. There's just no way that's going to happen because it's too expensive to travel. So you're going to double up on your regional things, whatever. I mean, there's ways to do this. There's ways to have a regional on a Saturday and a Sunday. Mandatory attendance, whatever. I mean, you got to do something,
There's
right?
always a way.
Yeah, but the players have to be in on this. You know what I'm saying? I've been advocating we need some sort of player organization, but I mean, the players need to get behind this and be because they all stand to benefit.
Of course.
The idea that you're going to be a player and you're just going to sit back and kind of snipe at people, and then you're going to be like, okay, and then the minute it gets good, ooh, I'm in. Nah, I don't think so. I think there's going to have to be a penalty. You're not going to ban people, but it's like, okay, yeah, you want in the union now? The initiation fee before this year is $200, next year it's $2,000, and if you're not in by the end of next year, it's $3,000, right? And all of a sudden now there's prize money where if you win one event, you've doubled, you've paid for it, right? Or whatever. That's what the PDC did. I mean, you had to pay to get it, to become a PDC player. It cost you money, and it weeds out the non-serious players.
Oh, sure. Right.
Right.
And
Now,
that's what you
3,000
want.
is too much money.
That's what you want. I
I just threw that out as an example.
Right.
As an example. So I don't know. We could talk about this more. We'll get some emails on this, I'm sure. We'll be back next week.
At least we will.
Should we say we're So are we conducting a formal search for a new chat room girl? We should ask the listeners.
I mean, yeah,
right?
We should ask them, see if that's what they want us to
If you
do.
guys want to nominate somebody for chat room girl, just send an email to darttalk@gmail.com, and we will give it its due consideration. Don't forget, you can download the audio podcasts on iTunes, on TuneIn.com, on Stitcher.com. The video will be up on YouTube. If you subscribe, you'll get an email when we put it up. Hopefully, we won't have any more glitches today.
Right.
And we'll be back, Dart talking to you next
Halloween.
week, the day before Halloween, and hopefully I won't be announcing my retirement as a player.
Right.
I don't really want
And
to
I
retire,
don't
but
plan
every
on-
year I go through this.
I don't plan on being in a costume.
Really? You're going to put little cat whiskers
Yeah.
on or something? Maybe I'll shave. That'll be my costume.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks in the chat room. We'll stick around for the after party, but until next week, everybody take care and safe travels.